gave during this debate performance. One, his Iraq war stance, another on proliferation, saying that he does believe that South Korea, Japan and Saudi Arabia should get nuclear weapons. He did say that in the past. All in all, though, a better debate performance than Trump has had in the past.
Katie Tur, thanks. And that leads me right to my question to the panel right here. If you just take this as a whole, how did Donald Trump, realizing the pressure was on him tonight, how did he do compared to his previous debates?
Well, overall, it was his best performance. But as Nicole pointed out, she was as good as she's been. It was also her best performance. But, you know, he stepped on himself. I mean, I was just looking. I mean, every newspaper headline in the debate is breaking news. Donald Trump says he isn't ready to accept the results. And remember, like, wait and see.
That's the headline.
And guess what? Every Republican.
That's a huge issue.
And here's the thing, Tom. Every Republican on the ballot tomorrow is going to get asked, Senator X, candidate Y, are you going to accept the results on November 8th?
And by the way, that comes after he said, and was it the second debate or your debate, that he would put her in jail if he could, if he became the president. He would have her.
Actually, put her in jail the second debate. Yeah. First debate, he said he was going to support her.
Right.
Second debate, put her in jail. This time, not concede.
Yeah.
He's got a little bit of a consistency.
Well, he's now out on an island on that issue and contradicting, well, not only himself, but his daughter, but his running mate, but the Republican secretaries of state from around the country who say, we run these elections, and we are telling you that there's not voter fraud that would imperil the result of an election. So I think that's part of the problem that he has, is he's kind of swimming against the tide here with this argument.
Let me go to Andrea Mitchell, also in the spin room. She's been following the Clinton campaign, and we talked about there was a lot of pressure, certainly on Donald Trump coming in here as the underdog in the polls, but a fair amount of pressure as well on Secretary Clinton to kind of hold what she has. How do her folks feel right now?
Well, they are, of course, saying that they feel very confident, and actually they do, that her performance was a strong performance. She did manage to pivot on WikiLeaks to what they wanted her to talk about, which was to try to get Donald Trump to disavow Vladimir Putin, to accuse him of supporting someone who is supporting Russian espionage, saying that 17 separate intelligence agencies have concluded that it is a very strong likelihood that Russia is behind this stealing of the emails and the hacking that then went to WikiLeaks. And he refused to back down with what he has done all along, which is to not criticize Vladimir Putin. Also on nuclear weapons, I think they feel that they were on very strong grounds. This was the first debate that challenged both candidates on their budget and tax proposals and cited the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, which is the best-known arbiter of these things, saying that both of them are wrong, but he far worse than her. So it was a substantive debate. I think that they also feel that he was very weak on the women's issues, especially when she called him to task for what he had said about the women who accused him of sexual advances. And he accused Clinton of putting them up to it, which was the first time he's actually said that. Lester?
Andrea Mitchell in this spin room. We'll take another break and be back with more of our post-debate coverage on NBC.
Well, I was upset because, unfortunately, dozens of toddlers injure themselves, even kill people with guns, because, unfortunately, not everyone who has loaded guns in their homes takes appropriate precautions. But there's no doubt that I respect the Second Amendment, that I also believe there's an individual right to bear arms. That is not in conflict with sensible, common sense regulation. And, you know, look, I understand that Donald's been strongly supported by the NRA. The gun lobby's on his side. They're running millions of dollars of ads against me. And I regret that, because what I would like to see is for people to come together and say, of course, we're going to protect and defend the Second Amendment, but we're going to do it in a way that tries to save some of these 33,000 lives that we lose every year.
Let me bring Mr. Trump back into that, because, in fact, you oppose any limits on assault weapons, any limits on high-capacity magazines. You support a national right-to-carry law. Why, sir?
Well, let me just tell you, before we go any further, in Chicago, which has the toughest gun laws in the United States, probably you could say by far, they have more gun violence than any other city. So we have the toughest laws, and you have tremendous gun violence. I am a very strong supporter of the Second Amendment, and I don't know if Hillary was saying it in a sarcastic manner, but I'm very proud to have the endorsement of the NRA, and it's the earliest endorsement they've ever given to anybody who ran for president. So I'm very honored by all of that. We are going to appoint justices. This is the best way to help the Second Amendment. We are going to appoint justices that will feel very strongly about the Second Amendment, that will not do damage to the Second Amendment.